He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Well, I've just got him for about 20 minutes or so. Then we're going to open the phones up at the bottom of the hour. He is State Representative Charles Key, and he has gotten it passed out of their House, a resolution, very strong resolution, declaring state independence against gun confiscation, martial law. We had State Senator Brogdon on yesterday, who has a mirror of it in the Senate. They have a very good chance of passing it in the Senate. Now a majority of states have introduced or are passing this type of legislation. Have a headline up on Infowars.com covering that right now. So Representative Charles Key, thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for joining us with an update.
Thank you, Alex. Good to be with you again. Thank you.
You bet. Tell us what's going on.
Well, I'm just getting flooded by emails and people all over the country and in our state, and even a few legislators. The list is growing. I think it's about 30 or so now, and it looks like it's just going to keep growing, of states that have filed a 10th Amendment resolution or something like it. And I'm real encouraged. I think things are moving in a good direction right now in our country at the state level.
Well, that said, I'm sure you know that the Attorney General's announced they are going to introduce soon an expanded assault weapons ban, and they've got gun registration, gun bans in there, psychological federal testing. I mean, they're moving quick, so it's a good thing the states are moving to block it.
Yes, and I'm getting tired of this. I think what the people need to do, and I think state legislators need to do, we need to face up to the fact that we have people in office at the federal and state level that are violating the supreme law of the land, and other laws for that matter, and we need to call them what they are. They're law breakers. They are the ones that are breaking the law. No one wants to really say that. I don't find any great pleasure in saying that and addressing this problem in this way, but I think it's time that we do that, because we can't continue to give ground away to those that will violate the supreme law of the land and put up laws that are in violation of it and really are no laws at all. You can't have a supreme law of the land that says and lays out what every level of government and individuals within the government can and cannot do, and then allow those individuals to then violate that and just make it up as they go along.
Well, we know
what they're doing.
We know in the Jesse Trinidad murder case, we have, via the lawsuits, this has made national news, his internal memos that the Attorney General, his Deputy Attorney General under Clinton, covering up and saying this is a national security matter of this OKC thing. We've got to pull out all the stops. This is like a D-Day operation. This is national security, highest level. We got to cover this up. This is a really nasty character.
Well, we can fix these problems in this country. There's so many examples, and Oklahoma City bombing case is a very good one, and thank God for Jesse Trinidad and people like him that won't let go, and they keep fighting this thing and dig more and more evidence out. But there's more than enough evidence for the people to see that their government is out of control. The difficulty is knowing that there's a lot of good people in government. There are, and probably a lot more than there are good. There's no question about that. But you keep putting these pieces in place of laws and regulations and the bad players in the government, and you allow an opportunity for people to take advantage of it. I heard a guy on a radio show that was a call-in just a few days ago, and he was talking about his father-in-law, who was born in 1900, died in 1999. He was 99 years old. German, lived in Germany all of his life, lived through both world wars. And this son-in-law was asking him, as the son-in-law was doing a doctorate and putting a paper together, he interviewed him for that paper that he was preparing, and he asked him what it was like between the two world wars, World War I and World War II. And among some of the things he said the father, who was an attorney, by the way, he said, people knew it was coming, but what happened is once they got they took all these little incremental steps and got these laws in place, it made it very, very difficult, almost impossible to stop it, because people allowed it to happen step by step. And it's easy for us to think in a defeatist way, and sometimes we as Christians will even think, well, it says in the Bible that in the end times this, that, or the other, whatever scenario, whatever interpretation, and then think in terms of, well, it's going to happen, there's nothing we can do to stop it, or it's too hard to stop. That's just defeatist thinking. We must overcome that kind of thinking and stand up to these things that are going on in our society, because we can stop this from happening, and we can do it peacefully without any kind of violent action needing or having to be taken later on down the road.
And I agree. The United States really is the only place ever that had, the closest you can get to true freedom and liberty. And it had never been done before, and we did it here. And look how it's just more dirt. This country doesn't have that much resources compared to Mexico or other places that are enslaved. It was because that spirit of liberty and that trailblazing idea and that idea that of entrepreneurial spirit and so many other things, that adventure spirit, that this country became so wealthy. So all the evil moved here to take over that engine, and now they've done that. They're trying to secure the robbery, the hijacking they've committed, and they're so openly criminal. I mean, it's turning out that most of Obama's administration just doesn't even pay taxes, and that is his chief of staff and the head of the Treasury, and they just don't care, and they're openly setting up youth brigades and spy forces and FEMA camps. I mean, but thank God the states are moving to block it, and if the people get excited about this and take action, there's nothing that can really stop us.
Well, and here's what I think is another point of information that should be encouraging to people, and if they will take advantage of it, it can pay a lot of dividends. The fact that there's a lot of good state legislators out there. Some of them are more knowledgeable than what we think or know, and some of them are not, but they're pretty good people. And if people will go and educate them, will communicate with them, or just give them the support in a lot of cases. Give them the support, let them know you're there, and that you want them to take these actions like oppose Real ID Act and other things like that. Support constitutional legislation and a return to the Constitution. They will stand up and do that if people will just back them up.
Exactly. What happened is good people stood down and said, oh, America's fine. We won World War II. We're the good guys. And then the evil just took over. If we just stop sucking our thumbs and stop saying it's too big a problem and having this defeatist attitude, we can take things back. But if we don't, folks, some of the worst criminals in history are now in control of our society. Foreign banks are openly looting us. And now, we've got you here today. You got the resolution passed in the House. Tell us how that fight went. And then now it's going to the Senate, and the state senator, your colleague, told me yesterday on air that it looks like it's got a good chance of passing. So tell us how that process of passing state sovereignty declaration, what's in it, and then now where it's going, how we carry the, we've got the ball down to the 1 yard line, and, we got one down here. How do we get across it?
Well, here in Oklahoma, it's in good hands over the Senate with Senator Brogdon. He's going to punch it on over the goal line over there, and then it's done. And I think that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And we'll probably be the first state to pass it out of both bodies. So it's moving down the road real well. The Republicans captured the Senate, and so that puts us in a much better position to be able to pass legislation like this. People are becoming more aware and informed, and I'm talking again about legislators. The people here in Oklahoma, there's some organizations that have come together and just individuals that have come out to lobby and inform their legislators about their interest in the 10th Amendment resolution and other legislation that they're either for or against, because it's protecting their rights or it's opposing laws that are bad for their constitutional rights. And those groups have become pretty powerful here in Oklahoma. I know other states can do the same thing.
That's
if people
right.
will just organize, and we'd be willing to help them right here in Oklahoma. These groups, myself, there's a lot of folks that are doing a great job in Oklahoma. And if you don't have something going in your state, you can easily get something going and get a lot of people that think alike to come together and start lobbying your legislature, and it'll pay off. Resistance
is victory. Resistance is victory. And that's what's so scary about this, is that people don't realize the power they have. And when I interview representatives from all over the country, I mean all over the nation, the East, the South, the West, the Central states, I mean, these are Democrats and Republicans, and they know about the FEMA camps, and they know the bill numbers. They know about the PDD 51. They know about the gun confiscation. They know about the New World Order. They know the foreign banks are taking over. They know, and they tell me that the word is spreading fast. And folks, that's the cadres of leadership that now fully know we have a criminal federal government. And if we just put wind into their sails on the good ship of liberty, we are unstoppable. I'm telling you, the education level's high enough now that if they pull a false flag or whatever to try to attack the states or, pose as our saviors to bring in martial law. I don't think it's going to work. But the foreign banks are going for broke. They've engaged in so many crimes now. They've got to bring in a total police state to secure their ill-gotten gain. Can you speak to that, sir?
Well, I think I think if people will work at the state level with their state legislators, their House members and Senate members, that's going to pay big dividends. I just came out of a meeting with our assistant floor leaders, which I'm one of here in the House, and we have a weekly meeting. We review legislation and things that are going on and talk about various topics. And we had some good discussions about some of these kinds of issues, including the Real ID Act and biometric and privacy issues and things like that.